Hello and welcome to the FATBOSS Guide to Feng the Accursed 25-man heroic in the Mogu'Shan vaults.
Hello!
Yes, this fight is actually really cool. They've added a whole new phase for us to play with, and it's actually a really cool phase as well, which we'll be getting to rather promptly.
Now, if you haven't seen the normal mode guide for this fight, then please do click up on the annotation on the left-hand side of your screen now, and that will just take you straight to that video, and you can go watch it and familiarise yourself if you don't already know the encounter.
Yeah, because we won't be covering the normal mode mechanics entirely, so.
Now, for this encounter, you want to bring 2 tanks, 5 to 6 healers, and a mixed makeup of DPS. It doesn't really matter what DPS you bring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, as we mentioned, there are 4 phases, and they will start at 100%, 75%, 50%, and 25%. And the difference on Heroic is that you can actually choose which phase to do. And if you look back to normal, when a phase starts, he'll run over to one of like the holographic looking weapons basically. However, the way that you change the order on Heroic is that you tank him near one of them. The one that he is standing to is the phase that he'll do next.
So basically, if he's standing next to Staff, he'll go into the Staff phase first. Now the order, you can actually do it in any order, but the order that we highly recommend you do is Staff, Spear, then Shield, which is a new one which we'll cover when we get to it, and then Fist. Now the reason you don't just go in any order is that every time the boss goes into a new phase, he gets a permanent 5% damage increase. So by the 4th, he's doing 20% extra damage, and you just don't want that in some of the things. So this is the optimum order.
So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Staff phase, which is the first phase that you want to do. So you obviously want to make sure that the boss is standing near the Staff when you pull him. And in this phase, it's exactly the same as normal. There's no extra abilities. So the debuff will still be placed on the tank that you want to switch around 2 to 3 stacks. He will still have his crazy AoE that you need to make sure that you stand underneath him, the velocity shit, and you want to use the nullification barrier on as many of these velocities as possible. You also need to keep in mind that the resonance debuff will still be on players, and this still does a crazy amount of damage if you're stood on a lot of people.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're still spread out for this.
Exactly. Now the second phase that you will do is the Spear phase, which is the Fire phase. Now in this phase there are also no new changes. However, you want to do Draw Flames slightly differently. Because you're only going to be doing 25% of the boss's HP instead of 33% on normal, he will or should only cast 2 Draw Flames. This means that you should let the first Draw Flames completely through without the shield, and then shield the second one. This means that you won't go into the next phase of any stacks, so he won't be AoEing the shit out of you. So let the first one through, and then the second one shield, and if he gets a third one off, then you want to be shielding the first and then shielding the third. You just got to make sure that he doesn't have any stacks when he transitions into the third phase, which is the shield phase. Now the shield phase is the third one, and it's the lovely new one. Now the boss has 3 abilities in this phase, and they're very similar to all the other ones. He will have a dot on the tank like all the other phases as well. You just want to taunt on 2 to 3 stacks or whenever it drops on you. He also has a chain lightning. Now you can just stack up for this anyway, as it doesn't really do that much damage, and it significantly helps you with the last move, which is Siphoning Shield. Now Siphoning Shield is when Feng throws his shield on the ground, and then a couple of seconds later he spawns an ad on top of every player. This ad will then start to walk towards the shield. Now each ad that hits the shield will give Feng 5% of his HP back.
Which is bad.
Which is very bad.
Very, very bad.
Now what you need to do to counter this is have all your range stacked up in the middle, as you can see here. Now as soon as Feng throws his shield on the ground, the rest of the raid should go and stack up on them as well. Then when the ads spawn, you should just AoE the shit out of them. Now these ads can be mass gripped as well, and as well they can also be stunned. Now for every other Siphoning Shield, you can use nullification barrier on it. Basically as soon as it appears on the floor, you activate the barrier over the top of it, and that just stops the whole ad spawning thing. That's it. So
and if the ads have already spawned, you still can use the shield, and the ads will just despawn. Occasionally it can bug and the ads are still alive, but they're not actually, they won't go on the next shield. So if ads are still alive after you've used the barrier, just ignore them.
Or dot
it's
them
just
up
a bug.
extra
It's a
DPS.
known bug. Blizz haven't fixed it because they're shit.
Now you rinse and repeat until 25% when the Fist phase will come in. Now just before this phase starts, you want to take Feng as far away from the Fist weapons as possible. This way, as soon as he hits 25% HP, he will have to run all the way across the room, giving you a couple of extra percent. Now the reason you can't do this for every other phase is that Feng will just go to the nearest weapon, and if you're on the other side of the room, he won't go to the one that you want to do. So just, it's a nice little way of getting a couple of extra percent DPS out on him.
Now, this last phase is very similar to normal mode as well, however, there are a few changes.
Now one of these changes is the Lightning Fist, which is a shockwave ability he does. Instead of it sending out only one shockwave, which is directly in front of him, it sends out 3 shockwaves at once. One to the front, one front but slightly left, and one to the front but slightly right. It's a very minor change, but you just want to make sure you're not going to be standing in those areas unless you're going to be get Trout of Reversal. Now for this phase, you want to make sure that everyone stacks right inside his hitbox. For this first epicenter, you want to stun him by using your Trout of the Reversal, which will cover it in 1 second. And for the second, you should have everyone inside the shield. However, the shield doesn't last the whole duration. 2 ticks at least will still get through. For these 2 ticks, you really need to have raid cooldowns and personal defensive cooldowns, as it will nearly kill your whole raid. It really fucking hurts. Really fucking hurts.
One way that you can do this is that you can have epicenter tick on you once and then use the barrier, and then you'll take a tick at the end, or you can take 2 ticks at the start or 2 ticks at the end. You can decide when to take the ticks. We'd recommend you take 1 tick, then use the barrier, and then when the barrier runs out, you'll take a final tick. But that gap in between will allow you to heal up and just make sure that you don't shit yourself.
Now, we haven't really covered Trout of Reversal for the last 3 phases. Now, every phase apart from the fifth phase, all you want to do is just use Trout of Reversal on the other tank, and this would just allow you to get the debuff that the boss puts on him, and then you can just apply that to the boss, just giving you more DPS so you can kill the boss quicker. However, in the last phase, of course, you need to get the stun. Now, the way that we did this is that we got a hunter, but it could be any ranged DPS, to stand in front of the boss for the Lightning Fist, so you only get hit by one of them. Just make sure that your tank who has the Shroud of Reversal is already channeling Shroud of Reversal on this ranged DPS, so when they do get hit, they get the spell as well, so they can stun. Now, the reason you don't want the other tank to take this, is because this tank is obviously taking melee hits from the boss, and with the damage multiplier, he's actually hitting really fucking hard. So you just got to make sure that the tank doesn't get hit and the hunter takes it instead. And apart from that, it's practically the same as normal mode, really. They got that extra phase. None of the old phases have changed too much, apart from Fist, where he's going to be doing a fuck ton of damage because he has 20% damage increase. But this way is probably the safest and easiest way of doing it. It didn't take very long to kill.
So thanks for watching, guys. If this guide did help you out, then please do drop a like. It helps us out a lot. And make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe.
And if you want to see any of our other 25-man heroic guides, then please do click up on your screen now on the annotations, and I'll take you straight to those guys right there. Yeah, we'll do, won't it, mate? Yeah, sure, great.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.